one of the most well-loved passages of Scripture begins, "For everything there is a season." This portion of the book of Ecclesiastes is so popular it's read at both weddings and funerals. And it's not just religious types who know it. So many could sing along with the bird's rendition of "Turn, turn, turn." The writer says there's a time for everything. The sentiment is that things happen when they're supposed to happen. Part of the Christian hope involves the eschaton, the final stage of history. People of faith believe that all things will be revealed and set right at the end of time. Goodness will triumph on that day of reckoning, no matter what else has happened. There will be a new heaven and a new earth, and everything will be as it's meant to be. No more fighting, no more injustice, no more misrepresentations. Christians live in anticipation of the prospect of this future. We look for the time when God's promise is fulfilled in its own God-appointed time. Things are imperfect now. For the time being, they are incomplete. And so we must be patient. We must hold out for when things will be better. And in the meantime, we take comfort knowing there's a plan. We can cope with the pain and wrong in this world because it isn't all there is. Good things will happen in time. In today's gospel, however, we read about a disruption to that order. At the wedding banquet in Cana, the party runs out of wine, and Mary, the mother of Jesus, is concerned. She nudges her son, saying, "They have no wine." And Jesus is troubled, not because they've nothing to drink, but because the timing is wrong. He tells his mother, "It's not the moment for a miracle, not now. It's too early." Then something happens. The gospel doesn't say what else might have transpired, but something causes a rethink. Whether it was appropriate or not, whether the timing was right or not, Jesus changed things up. He reordered the original plan. Mary says to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you," and people are blessed. Rearranging or mixing things up was a blessing. And it has been in other times too. Indeed, humankind has relied on things happening out of order, before their time. Oftentimes, inconvenience and mistiming have changed the world for the better. Figures like Plato, who established the foundations of Western philosophy, inspired generations of difference and invention. Jeremy Bentham's radical writings foreshadowed decades of social change. Ada Lovelace, she wrote the first computer program before the creation of modern computers. And Sister Rosetta Tharpe pushed the boundaries of music and arguably created the sound of rock and roll. These were pioneers, unseasonable forerunners who did things out of time. And isn't this our best chance for survival today? That even though it isn't profitable, companies will choose behaviors and processes that reverse climate change? That even though we must address the current pandemic, we must be ready for the next one now? That even though there are social barriers to economic and personal freedom, with a bit of luck, everyone will be empowered anyway. We count on those who will anticipate, jump the gun, stay ahead of the curve, and not just operate according to plan. This is our hope as people of faith. As much as Christians can exhibit fortitude in the face of trouble, knowing that better days are to come, today's gospel reminds us that sometimes we don't have to wait. The time for action is now. God hasn't constructed this universe as a device to run some kind of automated program. Although structure is a part of God's design, God's way isn't rigid. We know a God who adapts and supplements and changes, sometimes spontaneously, sometimes prematurely. There is a plan and purpose for our lives, but there is also opportunity for adjustment. And thank God for that. Even when things are not supposed to happen, even when the timing isn't right, God can perform wonders.